Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for being here today. I will just introduce ourselves in just a few words, and then we will watch a short video of the graduation ceremony of last year. No?
Presentation of the school.
Presentation of the school, okay. I am Charles Nicolas. I work at the School of Public Affairs, and I specifically work on professional programs designed for executive people, but I also work with the policy stream in economics. I am with Jenny Cottle.
Hello, my name is Jenny Cottle. I work at the School of Public Affairs. I specifically work on our international dual degree programs and also the policy stream in management and public affairs and social policy, as well as the gender equality certificate and the SDG certificate. And we're joined by our student representative.
Hi, my name is Honghek Monica. I'm currently in the first year in the Masters of Public Policy, and I'm in the specialty called Digital, New Technology, and Public Policy.
And thanks to Adrien Quenet, we will have now the video before starting.
L'école d'affaires publiques de Sciences Po porte une grande ambition, contribuer au bien commun. Comment ? En formant une diversité de jeunes générations capables d'apporter des solutions innovantes et responsables aux défis du monde pour améliorer la vie de nos concitoyens.
Nos étudiants viennent de tous les pays et de tous les horizons. Certains ont étudié au collège universitaire de Sciences Po, d'autres ont fait de l'économie, du droit, des sciences politiques, de l'histoire, des lettres, des langues, de la géographie, mais aussi des études en sciences dures ou appliquées.
Avec nous, ils bénéficient d'un enseignement pluridisciplinaire, ouvert sur tous les savoirs, qu'il s'agisse des sciences sociales, mais aussi des nouvelles technologies, des sciences dures, de l'éthique, de la psychologie, du management et de la négociation. Surtout, nous leur proposons une formation capable de combiner à la fois réflexion, décision et action.
Pour cela, les étudiants sont continuellement dans une situation professionnalisante avec, au-delà des cours magistraux, des études de cas et des simulations. Au sein de l'incubateur de politique publique, ils travaillent en équipe avec des chercheurs et des partenaires pour proposer des solutions concrètes et innovantes en réponse aux préoccupations des citoyens, des administrations et des entreprises.
C'est aussi la complémentarité de nos enseignants qui permettent d'allier l'acquisition de savoirs théoriques, de connaissances empiriques et des compétences pratiques. Ils sont choisis parmi les meilleurs praticiens et chercheurs. Tous sont ancrés dans une pédagogie aussi innovante que créative.
Très concrètement, les étudiants ont accès à un très large éventail de masters qui couvrent l'ensemble des dimensions des affaires publiques, qu'il s'agisse d'administration publique, mais aussi de culture, de santé, de numérique, de sécurité et de défense, de développement durable ou encore de politique et d'économie. Au-delà du choix des masters, ils choisissent l'une des 12 spécialités en affaires publiques pour renforcer leur professionnalisation. Ils peuvent également intégrer notre préparation au concours de la haute fonction publique française ou européenne.
Bien sûr, l'école est particulièrement ouverte sur l'Europe et le monde en général, avec un tiers d'étudiants internationaux et 14 doubles diplômes avec des universités américaines, européennes ou asiatiques. À la sortie, les diplômés ont accès à un très large éventail de carrières dans le public, dans le privé, dans des organisations non gouvernementales, mais aussi au niveau local, national, européen et international.
Dans leur grande diversité, tous nos étudiants partagent une même inspiration. Réinventer les affaires publiques pour dessiner le monde de demain au service du bien commun.
Okay, so we will have not so much time because we have like 20 minutes just to present the school, and then a little more time, obviously, to answer any question you would have. What we aim to do here at the School of Public Affairs, we aim to train leaders able to are well aware public policy makers, not only public policy, and I will go back to it further, but people able to work on the big challenges that our societies face at the cross-cutting of different fields. It's not only the public policy fields that interest us, but all the actors interested in what we call the common good, private sector, international organizations, associations, civil society, etc. It means that when we have our approach in all our programs is to make sure that every teacher you will have in front of you is able to manage with all the dimensions. You will have academic teachers, obviously, but you will also have practitioners from very different fields, and we try to always cross the different perspectives to be able to bring to our students all that knowledge from different points of view. How we do that always in a multidisciplinary approach, which means that we try to combine the inputs of politics, of economics, of sociology, of anthropology when needed, of very different disciplines, which are all represented within Sciences Po, and to bring it all together to make sure that you have a wide perception and a wide knowledge of all the issues we deal with. European and international footprint. It means, specifically in the School of Public Affairs, that we always look at the challenges from at different scales, from the local one to the international one, going through Europe and the national level, of course, and to see at each of this scale how it works and how it should work, and how the different scales and levels combine together. And then innovative pedagogy, it means that we always try to implement new form of teaching, new methods, to make sure that you have not a book in front of you, but you are able to discuss with the teachers, you are able to work by groups on projects, you are able to design public policy solutions, to prototype them, to participate in a lot of events, of projects. It's not always being on a chair and listening to the guy who has the knowledge. Maybe Jenny?
So at the School of Public Affairs, we have two main master's degrees in 2 years. There is the Master in Public Policy and the Master in European Affairs. Here behind me, you can see the common core courses that will make up the 2 years of your master's. There are obviously some differences between the two, but there are also some courses that are shared between both that are believed to be equally important for doing a Master in European Affairs or a Master in Public Policy. So you can see how these courses really lay down the foundation of public economics, policy analysis, versus the European Affairs, which will have a focus more on regulating the EU market, on understanding the constitutional foundations of the European Union, geopolitics of the EU, and so on. Another important aspect of these 2 years is the case study component, and that is also a required part of your degree during the second year of the master's. That's also what Charles was referring to in terms of the innovative pedagogy of the school, and that's where you spend all semester really working on an actual case study, usually with the professor or practitioner that led the case study when it actually happened. I think we can go on to the next slide. So after choosing which master's degree you would like between the public policy or European affairs, you then choose a policy stream. We have 11 different policy streams. You can see that some are available only in English, some are in French, and some are in both. I would draw attention to the fact that even when they are in both languages, so for example, santé in French, health in French versus global health, it is not exactly the same curriculum. One will have really a French focus versus global health, which will obviously focus more on international and global health issues around the world. Most of the policy streams, with the exception of administration publique or public administration in French, are really smaller cohorts, usually 50 students or less. So just another thing to keep in mind with a few exceptions.
And just to add a word on it, when you have an English policy stream, it means that all the core curriculum will be in English, the mandatory one, but it doesn't prevent anyone to pick courses in French, and the same in the other way for the French policy streams.
Yes, if you have a high enough level in French and in English, then you can actually choose, especially from the elective courses, which we'll show you in the next slide, what the actual curriculum looks like. But you can kind of mix and match if you would like to also take classes in French or also take classes in English.
Okay, that's basically how it works for the 2-year masters. The three first semesters you are in Sciences Po in the School of Public Affairs. For each semester is 12 weeks long. Each semester you have your core curriculum, you have your core courses. Core curriculum, it's at the scale of Sciences Po. Core courses, it's at the scale of the School of Public Affairs, of the master. MPP for Master in Public Policy, MEA for Master in European Affairs. And then the policy stream courses, which is, in a way, the core of your program. It's what you choose. When you have chosen the master, the real identity of your curriculum will be the policy stream. That will give you the color of what you will do. You will, at the end, have you graduate from a master, but for the content you will have, what counts the most is the policy stream, and then that is the mandatory curriculum, and then the rest of it is the thing you can pick up among all the offering elective courses, languages, options. You design your program as well as you want to best adapt to your expectations, to your prospects. You can pick some courses in a very precise and defined field, all your courses in energy or in health, for instance, and you can also pick courses in different areas, one in security, one in culture, one in economics. It's up to you and up to what you expect to learn in the school. And options, just to tell you a little word about it, it's like Center for the Entrepreneurship, Center for Health, Rhetorical Center, some kind of thing that can add some value to your journey here in ways you want to improve or develop. And then the 4th semester, what we call in French le semestre hors les murs, it's outside of Sciences Po. You will have the choice between an internship, between a research project, between a personal project. It can be whatever you want that we validate, but which is very consistent with your program year, with your curriculum, and with your prospects. And that's at the end of your curriculum year, it's the doorstep between what you have studied within our walls and what you will do after it. And then the final moment of the master is the famous grand oral that validates the 4th semester and the whole curriculum. About dual degrees.
Yes, so we have a wide range of international partnerships. As you can see, we have partnerships with Columbia University in New York, with LSE in London, all the way to the University of Tokyo. The University of Tokyo, Frye University. So really a whole range of partnerships between other European partners, Asian partners, and North American partners. We also have national dual degrees. So if you would like to do, for example, a dual degree with an MBA at HEC in business, this is also possible. Most of the dual degrees you will need to apply to directly into the dual degree. So I strongly recommend looking at the website to make sure that you don't miss the specific admission deadline for the dual degree that you are interested in. For the majority of dual degrees, you spend the first year at Sciences Po at the School of Public Affairs and the second year at one of our partner universities. Another advantage to doing a dual degree is really at the end you have exactly that. You have 2 diplomas, 2 different degrees, and you have access to 2 entire networks which could be on 2 different continents in terms of career services, networking opportunities. We're also part of the GPPN, or the Global Public Policy Network, and those are even kind of privileged partners for our dual degree partnerships. We have an international conference that we organize which brings together over 100 students from all 7 partner universities every year, which compete for the GPPN prize on the best project. And we also have the SDG, or Sustainable Development Goals Certificate, which is part of the GPPN. So it's also a very international program which brings together students from all of the universities in the GPPN. So we also have the Policy Lab, which is an additional option that you can choose to specialize in during your master's here. The Policy Lab brings together several different components that you can see in the circle here. It comprises the Public Policy Incubator, which you can choose to participate in during your second semester, where you also really work on a hands-on project all semester to learn concrete management skills, consulting skills, and also to work in a team. And so with the Public Policy Incubator, you work with specific partners based in Paris or in France and help them with a challenge that they're facing for their institution or business. We also have simulations that are specific to different policy streams. So for example, there is a global health and energy simulation, there's a cultural simulation. These are also additional optional courses or just kind of 2-day seminars that you can take. We also have a summer school with a partnership with Harvard that also focuses on sustainable development. And the case studies, which are an integral part, which I already mentioned, that are part of your 2 years of the master's here.
Just a quick word about young professional programs, and not only very young. There are 2 of them in the School of Public Affairs. They are designed for professionals with at least 5 years of professional experience. They are 1-year programs, so very dense and intensive. You may encounter, if you apply for even a 2-year master's, you will meet those guys within some courses that are shared between projects that are shared with them. The Master in Public Affairs is designed for people who look to go from the private sector to the public sector, or else or the other way, to adapt their curriculum to candidate and to apply for the international organizations. People who want to give a kind of boost to their career and have access to decision-making positions quicker than the normal way. And the Master en Art Politique, which is in French, is designed for the same kind of profiles, to see how the arts and the arts approach can help to solve public policy issues. And a quick word, you may not be concerned, not so much of you, but you know that we have in the School of Public Affairs what we call the Prépa Concours, which is designed not only for French students to prepare candidate applicants to the big national administrations through the ENA, la Banque de France, l'INET for the local entities, DGSE, it's for the intelligence, etc. There are 13 of them total, I think, and you can do both in the second year of the master or the year after the master. And there is also, sorry for that, the CPCE, which prepares students for the concours to European Commission and European institutions. What our students and our graduates do after their curriculum year, after the master? First of all, even if it's a school in public affairs, please notice that like 2/3 of you and of people going out of the masters work initially in the private sector. So there is no given idea that you must work with the public sector if you have gone through a school in public affairs. We work, as I told you, as a cross-cutting of very different sectors, and there is a variety of options when you go out of the school. And usually students find easily the job because a third of them is already employed even before finishing the master. And I think the figure for it's here, 84% are employed within 6 months. You can see the sectors, which are very different. Public administration only represents a quarter of it. Not that we are not proud of public administration, but just to let you know that the options are very wide. Maybe before going to the Q&A sessions and to develop any point you would have, the floor is to Ungahan.
Okay. So as I said, I'm in the policy stream called Digital New Technology and Public Policy. And I know many of you probably are still hesitating because there are so many choices, not only within the School of Public Affairs, but Sciences Po also has other schools, and a lot of the specialties usually overlap. So I chose my specialty based on the fact that it reconciles what I'm interested in, which is new technologies and public policy. I think Sciences Po is having this master's since not a long time, and I think it's a very niche sector which is still developing. And I'm very happy with my choice so far because, as Jenny and Charles said, you can, during your studies, you have a lot of opportunities to kind of go outside of your classroom and go to different conferences, or through your classes, you have access to different events that you would not otherwise have access to. But then, of course, for the choice, I would recommend to look at the concrete classes that you would be taking. They are all available online, I believe, on the pages of Sciences Po. And there you will know what to expect, and also talking to the people who study this field. You can usually reach out to them through Facebook, or LinkedIn usually shows what people are studying exactly, and I found that personally very helpful because I understand that before studying a specific field, you can be asking many questions. So even if you are hesitating to study the policy stream I am, don't hesitate to ask me after. And besides the academic life, there are also many associations. I think Sciences Po in this way is very similar to the American model because there are many student initiatives, and you can really find everything you're interested in, I think. There are permanent associations that are in charge of the student life, of the sports and arts. I am specifically in Association d'École d'Affaires Publiques, which is in charge of the students in our school, and we organize different conferences and roundtables, usually more professionally related, which is also another opportunity to network and meet people from the field. And usually the associations recruit at the beginning of the semester, and what I would recommend is, if you're interested, you can look ahead. Usually also they have Facebook pages, and if you want to ask about the application process, they are very responsive usually. And I definitely recommend getting involved in associations besides, of course, taking classes and having internships, because it's another way of meeting people, and it's another way of integrating yourself in the school. And lastly, just to say, so prior to joining the masters, I was already in Collège Universitaire, so one of the satellite campuses of Sciences Po. I was in Reims. And so maybe my admissions procedure was a bit different than for international students that haven't been in Sciences Po before. But I think in general, what is really important is to work on your dossier. It's the student application basically. So Sciences Po, I think, as most of the international schools now, doesn't only look at your grades, but also looks at your extracurricular activities, your motivation letter, your CV, and I think it's a very holistic approach. And then I think sometimes there's also the second round of interview. But what I think is really important if you want to get in is to really work on your file and kind of have an idea of you want to do with the masters and have a personal project. So yeah.
Thanks a lot, Johan. So, okay, it's just a quick overview of the school, but we don't have so much time. We prefer to let the floor to you, and the three of us are very eager to answer any question you would have, any precision you would need about what we just presented.
There's a microphone right here if you want to ask a question.
Adrien, Claire Nao.
Thank you very much. Can we apply to dual degrees without being at the Collège Universitaire?
Yes, everyone can apply to a dual degree. As I mentioned, you can apply to the two-year master's just at the School of Public Affairs and to a dual degree as well, if you would like. But the dual degrees are open to everyone in terms of applying. Afterwards, it's still a very competitive process to be accepted, but everyone can apply to a dual degree.
Hi. I would like to know a little bit more about the professional options, especially for digital and new technology and public policy.
Would you like to?
Concerning the professional options, what I find really advantageous is that usually, for example, the teachers that we have in our policy stream are from the field. So one of my classes is on digital and innovative government, and the teacher actually also works in as a head of the digital government division in OECD. And so she also has contacts to other people relevant in the field, and thanks to this class, we got access to the GovTech Summit that was recently in Paris, and it really opens your eyes because it's very complementary to what you study, and you actually see the practical applications. And honestly, before joining this program, I had some ideas of maybe like some works in some startups, in tech companies. Maybe I thought, yes, maybe there's some division in OECD. But for example, going to this kind of conferences really shows you that there are so many options out there. And especially, I think, in France right now, I think it's a really good country to study this field because this sector is really developing. There are a lot of governmental bodies that were created just last year or even this year. And I think France is really working on transforming the public sector, especially with President Macron. There's a lot of new initiatives, and I think for students from public affairs and especially our stream, there will be a lot of opportunities.
And maybe just to add a word about the kind of career services that we have in general. So in addition to what you said about specifically for digital policy, but we have a specific newsletter every week that's sent just to students in the School of Public Affairs with a list of all of our activities in terms of roundtables or career breakfasts that are going on every week, but also a list of different internship ideas that are grouped together just for students from the School of Public Affairs according to your interests. And also in the second year of your master's, you're assigned what's called a référent carrière, or kind of a career mentor, who is a professor at Sciences Po, but usually working as a practitioner full-time in a different sector. And so every single student will have contact with their career mentor in the second year for any questions that you might have.
Hi, thank you. So my question is specific in continuation to what he just asked in terms of career prospects that graduates would have. Since the one-year master is for students who have 5 years or more work experience, I presume the kind of career opportunities for them would also be slightly different. So are there opportunities provided within campus to cater to the career opportunities that these students seek, or are these students expected to find job opportunities themselves?
we try to help the students in the one-year masters as much as we can. They have access to the general offer that Jenny just presented, which is adjusted to their needs also. They will have the opportunity to meet a lot of guys who could be potential recruiters for them, depending on what they want to do. If you want to go back to your public administration after the MPA, Sciences Po won't be of very much help. But if you want to work in an international organization, for instance, you will work all year long with OECD, with the EIB, EBRD, etc., the United Nations programs. So it depends on the field, but there is a specific offer in terms of career helping and advice for these professional students, and in a lot of sectors, the firms, the companies, the consultancy firm, for instance, come to Sciences Po to recruit. The initial view is that they come to present the work, they kind of present the state of the job market, but what they are interested in is in finding good profiles and know what they have gone through in their curriculum, what they are provided with, equipped with, and they often recruit. I've shown you that 35% of our students are employed before graduation. I think the rate is even higher for the professional students. So it's different way of combining it, but you are so much of your time is shared with external practitioners, external organizations, that you can find a way to go through your career prospect even within the master.
Thank you. How much support do students get when finding an internship in the 4th semester?
Yes, so you can always meet with your academic advisor. So as we introduced ourselves, if you were in, for example, the policy stream that I'm in charge of, you can always set up a meeting with me if you're concerned about finding an internship or just feeling kind of completely lost of what kind of sector you'd like to work in. You can also set up specific appointments with the Career Center as well. In particular, if you'd like help with your CV, with interviews, they have different workshops throughout the entire year. All of our students always manage to find the internship, so it's really not something that ends up being a big concern in that respect, but we do accompany you in helping you find it. As I mentioned, you get the weekly newsletter as well, which has a list of different internships, but you also have the Career Center website, which has all of their different internships, hundreds and hundreds of them as well. So you can choose from many, many different areas, even if it's not specifically listed in the newsletter. So there is a lot of help in that respect. Plus, starting at the beginning of the first semester of your second year, you also have the career mentor person who is also there to help you. And another big resource, which I usually mention, are the professors themselves, because so many of the professors are actually working in many different sectors. I also recommend using them as a resource, asking them if they could meet with you to give you some advice or have other recommendations in that respect as well.
With the Masters in Public Affairs, how many people take that program, and what have they done beforehand? Is there a general trend in what professional experience they've had, or is it entirely varied?
There is a very big diversity within this cohort. It's 25 people average, depending on the year, and we want it to stay compact, to make sure that the interaction is full all along the classes they have. Their profile are very different. Last year there were 24 of them. I think there was 17 different nationalities. They come from the private sector, they come from the public sector, they come from consultancies, they come from international organizations. They want to reach any of these fields. You can enter the program with a very defined idea of what you want to do after it, what you want to take from the program. You can arrive with, and you can get out of the program with the same idea. People come with an idea and at the end they have a totally different idea of what they want to do. People come with not very much defined idea, and we accept that. Just a general approach, which is I want to get a step back from my career. I just want to be merged in that kind of issues, of challenges, and I want to develop an approach on that issue, that challenge, etc., and build your prospect within the program. All is valid and valuable. It's one of the greatest input also of the Master in Public Affairs is that you have people around you with so many different backgrounds and so many things to bring to you that even in itself, the networking within the cohort is, as students say, is one of the biggest inputs. There is different scales because you have this first networking level, which is 25 guys which are around you, and then the teachers you will have, like you will meet, I think 50, 60 people total in the year, and then all the teachers, all the guys that come to Sciences Po to speak, which means 1,000 of people. Even if you don't have a course with them, you can ask them some advice if they work in a field that interests you. And then all the people in the partnership we have when you are in a consultancy mission, etc., within the program, you can interact with very different people and different professional fields.
I'm interested to learn more about the cultural policy stream. I don't know if that's too specific for now, but I'd love to know, is it specific to visual arts, or are there other disciplines and media that you explore in it?
From what I know, but maybe Janie will be more accurate in her answer, it's very wide. It's one of, in terms of numbers, it's one of our biggest policy streams. And you can have all the dimensions of the cultural policy, starting from the arts, the access, how it's implemented in a wider vision of a society, in budgeting, in the cultural field, etc. It's not very. If you want, if you have a little more time after it, we can go in the room to find maybe the person which is in charge of the policy stream can discuss with you if she's here. But even if she's not, we will have a little time to talk about it a little longer if you want. Maybe Jenny, you know.
Yes, that's correct. In general, for all of the policy streams, I would also recommend really going on the website and looking at the type of the required courses, but also all of the elective courses. There are hundreds of them, and you'll see for cultural policy, for example, that it is really a wide range. Another emphasis for cultural policy in particular is that it's not specifically to study arts, it's really to study cultural policy and management. So really the interaction between cultural institutions as well as different artistic aspects of that. So it's not only focused on visual arts.
I have a question regarding the policy streams. So they are really specific, and also, as you said, they're all pretty niche. How much have you now already focused on that during the motivation letter, during the application process, on that specific policy stream? Or should we really elaborate on that, or would that seem a bit narrow-minded if you say you only want to do global health, for example? Or do you actually appreciate that when you really focus on something?
So you will see in the application form there is a section for your personal statement in general, or your motivation letter, and then there's a specific section for the policy stream. So in that, you can already mention if it corresponds with your background and you want to already talk about a little bit more about the specific policy stream that you're interested in, but there is an entire paragraph that you will have to write to explain why that policy stream. So it is something that is important for us to understand, not only your motivation to come to Sciences Po, to come to the School of Public Affairs, then the Masters, but also the policy stream and how that's going to tie into your kind of professional project afterwards.
And to show that you have been through the offer in the policy stream, that you know what is the content.
Yes, it's important for us to see that you've understood, that you've really also looked at the curriculum and you know what to expect, and that you've shown us that you understand what you would be gaining and also what you'd be bringing as a student here.
So my question is actually pretty similar to the previous one, only regarding to the double degrees program.
Mm-hmm.
When we are applying for both a double degree and, I don't know, for instance, European affairs, how does it work, and how does it influence the fact that you're applying to both?
Yes, so you will see that you apply still directly through the Sciences Po admissions portal. However, there will be a separate motivation letter for the dual degree. So we will see if you're also applying to the master's just at Sciences Po, you'll have your motivation letter where you just discuss why you want to do that master in European affairs, for example, at the School of Public Affairs. And then you'll have a different motivation letter where you will still use some of those elements, but you will also explain your motivation for the dual degree. And for both of those, you will still have the policy stream section as well.
Thank you. Hello. How many students you accept each year in every policy stream? And what is the percentage of the foreign students? Thank you very much.
Total by year, I think we have 700 students divided in the 11 policy streams we presented. The biggest one is Administration Publique, and I think it's like 250 students. The other one, as Jenny told you, most of them are around 40, 50 students a year. And you wanted to know the proportion of foreign students? I think, and we don't have the figures here, I think it's like 40%.
Yeah, so I believe it's 40% for the entire school. Afterwards, if you're asking by policy stream, then the numbers will change, especially for policy streams in English. You'll find that they're at least 50% usually of international students.
Because the 40% includes Administration Publique, which has big numbers, and most of them are French students. So in the other policy streams, naturally, the quota rise.
Any other question?
Okay, if some other questions come, obviously don't hesitate to come to see us. We will be in the 24 and 25 rooms. You have to go downstairs and then upstairs on the other stairs. We were delighted to have you here today. We hope that little information was helpful for you and useful for your reflections. Finally, we hope that you will be able to apply and to enter Sciences Po, and that we will meet in the same room, but as Sciences Po students. Thank you.